Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
think it's all good in the hood, like I said. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I was having a good laugh. I put it's like the one time that we've had a YouTube video up since, I don't know, episode 50 or something when we
Yeah,
tried.
shit's been a long time.
But it was nice to see everybody last week.
You missed
know.
Linda.
Yeah, no, I had her on the list, but I guess her
I didn't know how
ProLab
to
email kicked back because I
I
wondered
didn't know how to answer
why.
that. I thought, holy shit,
I
ain't
know.
going down that path.
No. You should wisely
you're
stay
on,
out
baby.
of that and
Forget it.
let me take the heat from
You
the
better
boss.
believe it.
So, yeah.
I think a bunch of. I think you. I think. I'm just glad it was you. I think you just struggled with the whole invitation process.
That whole
What a
night,
schlemazel.
that whole week was like, oh my
Oh
god,
my god,
like,
that was funny.
But I had a nice break though. I had a break and I needed it. And
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're back at it.
Yeah, just trying to get our shit together, get going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's been busy but a good week, like super solid for a first week. Got lots of stuff done.
I think that's more what it is. I just feel like there's stuff happened, which was, I don't know, kind of what you're hoping for, right? Things got done.
Yeah.
Things are getting done.
Things are getting done.
You know, it's a brand new year.
Yeah.
You know, so what's this year's plan? 24 hours, 22 hours? Where are you going?
No, I think
48 hours now, going the other way.
I am going up a little. So I kind of did the math and I think I've gone from 35 or 38, whatever it is, to 40. But I'm gonna hold it there. I'm gonna make some small changes to the way my client base is set up.
How do you mean?
So I think I'm gonna add someone. I'm trying to add a brand and then cut one of my brands down a little. Right. Not the one that we work with, but the other one. So
the one we work with has got a lot of uphill potential.
Yeah, and there's a lot to do there. There's a lot to do.
And I think that's a silly one to cut.
No, that wouldn't be. Well, first, I think they would try and kill me, and then two is honestly, it's fun work, and it's going really well, and it's the type of work I really love, right? So I think that's going to stay. The other brand that I want to cut down a little, I need to put in some significant hours to get them to the right place, and then I'll back up. I'm a little too far into their operations. I'm kind of like that, right? Like I get into things, I want to get.
I think that's a problem with both of us. Is you start off with a real tight scope, and then you seem to get pulled in, right?
Yeah,
and a lot of times because you like the people too. And so, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem is the whatever's become challenging.
And then you lose your perspective and things like that. So I am gonna try and back out a little bit. But not before I can get them to the right place, the right structure. So it's a funny one. At some point we'll talk about it in depth. Andy, who I work with there, also listens to this podcast, so he won't be surprised. But the owner is she's quite involved in. As much as she wants to grow the business, she's quite involved in the marketing side of things, and it's not a. We've got to find a formula that works for her. We tried to bring her into the modern age, and kind of show her how it's done now. It's quite the leap, and she's having trouble adjusting. And so I've got to find her a structure that bridges the gap and kind of finds her the right people. So
but is she too hands-on without
very?
I don't want to pick
on
her.
Very.
But you probably picked on her enough, so she already knows this.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't listen to this podcast, but Andy, who I work with there, does definitely. So
the challenge I think with a lot of them, and I'm sure you'll see this with some of your other clients, is it's difficult for entrepreneurs to understand what it means to fly high.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And typically where they don't need. Typically where they fail the most is really in the money and the finances. And it's typically there they spend the least amount of time.
Yep.
And the area they probably don't need to spend a lot of time in is typically sales, because you typically have a sales team. Marketing, because you probably have a decent marketing team. And sometimes what you do is, you gravitate to the things you think you know or the things you think you like. And that's where you're already pretty well, like you've got a decent, you got a good centerman, you got a good right winger, you got a good left winger. We don't need any more forwards.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it would be nice to have someone on the bench.
Yeah.
Or up in the stands,
coach or in the owner's box.
GM, right? And have someone saying, okay, when I say like don't go fly low, it doesn't mean not to know what's not going on, but get out of it. Like you don't need to know tactically what's happening this week. It's not important to you.
There's also this. There's like two things that. Getting her out of the habit is difficult. So one is look, the business has been around for almost 30 years. She built the thing from scratch. The first instinct is when it's not working exactly the way she would want it to, her instinct is to go in and do it herself, because that's what entrepreneurs do. That's how you did it. That's what got her there in the first place, right?
Logical.
So there's definitely that part of it. And then the second part is there's it's like you need to shift from being an entrepreneur to being a CEO, and you have to recognize when to give up parts of this, right? So branding is such a, she sees the brand and her as the owner, they're synonymous, right? Like the brand and her are the same thing. But the shift has to be when you start moving to being a CEO is the brand, you the CEO is not the brand. The brand and the CEO are two different things now. And you have to be able to let go of it, right? So I think that's something that, quite honestly, we just haven't addressed with her, right? Is kind of this separation of images, which I think is going to be really challenging for her, right? It's her life. I think it's
challenging for any entrepreneur's been probably in it for more than 10, 15 years. If you're that long, it's really difficult. I mean, we can talk about others that would have the same challenges, and they would know who we're talking about as well. And it's not a knock.
No,
it's again, it's to appreciate what your role needs to be. And your role doesn't need to be to replace another employee.
Yeah.
Your role is to rise above that.
Yeah.
Right. And look for other things. Spend more time figuring out where the money is. Spend more time figuring out where the growth can come from, more from the financial aspect. If you're the visionary and you had the idea, find another idea, find a complementary idea, but get the fuck out of the day-to-day shit. That's not where you belong. Right. I know it's nice to talk sometimes to the customers or to get into the nitty-gritty, but you're wasting your time. And quite frankly, what you do is you just start tripping over the other people who are already doing it, and then you're frustrated, they're frustrated, and the result's going to look like it was made by a bunch of frustrated people. So I don't know what the win is, right? But that's really difficult. Listen, I work for a lot of, there's reasons I left. Mutually, we had parting of the ways with other clients is because the ownership just couldn't separate themselves from the business.
Yeah.
Where they believe that they were the business, and you're telling them, no, you're an integral part of the business, but you are not emphatically the business. And quite frankly, you are the reason the business is where the business is and where it's probably going to be for as long as you hold that attitude. You're never going to grow.
That is one of the challenges. Like that's an upcoming challenge that we need to talk through. Is there is a moment where we just need to be able to say, listen, what do you really want, right? Like if you want the business to double in size, this is the cost of, of doubling, and that's going to be about separating you from the business. The business has to be able to run on its own. What happens when you don't see yourself as the owner? And that's going to be something that I suspect I know what her answer is, but that's going to be a kind of key part of this.
But that's a tough. But she needs to understand. You have to get out of that owner thing and do what you said. Like you are not the owner anymore. You're the owner. You're not the owner though. Yeah. You need to act like the CEO. Like you need to treat this as an entity, not as an appendage or as a child. Yeah. Which I get it. That's what this whole thing becomes. But this is not what it is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the children are, if you want to, is the people that you have working for you. Yeah. You know, like we joke all the time. The 3 kids that we manage in another place, that's who's going to run the show. It is not going to be the one who's ran it before, and he needs to step aside. Yeah. It's not going to be the one who's or the 2 that have come in at different levels or departments of consulting. It's not their gig. Yeah. The roles of those 3 people is to get to the other 3 people.
Yeah, and teach them what we know.
And up and going and let them do
teach them what we know and guide them, right? And they're going to make mistakes, right? So what? So if they make mistakes, and this is a key thing too, is when they make mistakes, you don't swoop in and do it for them. You gotta have some patience and some restraint to show them where could we have done better. What does my experience say? Let's talk about this, and then guide you, right? So
right. But be open-minded enough to know that just because you think you know doesn't mean you know.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It's more of a sit down and say, okay, this is what's happened. Why do you think this happened? Mm-hmm. And maybe what you'll find out is the person actually knows and you didn't know. Yeah. Or you see something new, or you learn something new. Yeah. But I do think I think that's sometimes the trick is like, it's like with kids. I mean, you can only tell them so many times not to do something until you get to the point thinking, just go do it. Yeah. I mean, as long as it's not, life threatening, but sure, touch the stove. I've only told you 20 times not to do that. Go ahead.
You'll figure it out. You'll figure
it out pretty fast why I kept telling you not to do that. I mean, it's, I'm not going to throw you at it, but sure, go ahead. I can only tell you so many times. Yeah. Before you're going to have to, learn yourself that was a stupid decision.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one, I'm going to figure out how to build a structure for them that works, and then probably cut down the number of hours I'm with them. One, because I really love those guys. I want to be able to continue to drive value. But we're kind of down a path where at some point we're going to part ways and it won't be great, right? And
you're going to leave with animosity, and that's what's the point of that.
So we'll figure that out, and then and then I'll probably bring somebody else on just to kind of round out the portfolio a little. Right. Starting to think about like things that I want to do for the year and how that looks for the business from a full year perspective, right? Like, so, the house needs new floors upstairs. The house needs new windows.
Right. Where are you going to get that? So that's going to happen.
Yeah. So is that maybe a longer January, longer February, and then not so much in March? What does that mean, right? So
no, I think I totally understand that part. Yeah. And then it becomes, okay, well, how am I going to do this? I mean, that's X amount of dollars, but it could be like 90 hours. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, another way to do this.
It's more like how many
20 hours somewhere in here.
Yeah, like how many sprints do I want to do?
Right.
And then now, because I have the ability to do, right? So to plan around the kids a little bit more, and August and September, July and August are really no brainers, right? They're not going to be like long work months, because I'm going to be pretty focused on kind of getting the kids hopefully a last hurrah somewhere before we go back in September. And
well, I mean, as long as we're allowed to, right? If we can do something, it'd be kind of nice to be able to do something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some of that's I mean, maybe that's the other thing too, is that's maybe why not the mood. I mean, it was such a weird, that was a weird end and a weird start to the year. And then even watching the States yesterday,
it's all of it's been weird, man.
It's just so
it's surreal almost. Yeah.
But it doesn't even, I don't even know what the hell we're watching anymore.
Yeah,
it just seems really strange, everything right now, right?
Yeah. It feels very surreal.
Yeah.
I think. So yeah, and so, like, and I think Ontario is noodling a curfew.
I heard Quebec has done it, right?
Quebec has done a curfew. We're thinking about, we've got data that says basically we've all been idiots, right? Because they, like, a third of the
consistent everywhere.
Well, a third of the people that tested positive for COVID over the holidays went and saw family.
Well, which, how many times did we all say? And now, listen, we're all guilty of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
To some degree, because again, it was like thinking, come on, fuck's been like 8-9 months of this shit.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to see somebody.
Yeah.
But you're right. You pay the price now.
Well, and I don't think we actually know exactly what the price is yet.
Not yet.
we haven't even gotten all the results in, but the numbers are super high, right? So So I think they're thinking about it. So we're probably going into some sort of protracted lockdown. So it's probably not a bad time to put some hours in now and try and put some away.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, and I seem to be, I've got to start spending more time in the bar, especially now that the pasta's going to be up and running, which is pretty exciting.
Your pasta's killing me, man.
You know what? Honestly, it's good. Holy shit. So, okay, we're going to die. Well, we can do whatever. It's our fucking podcast. I don't know why I'm explaining it. Whatever. I mean, nobody expects, the bar's been set so low. I don't even know why I went down there. Like, I felt like we needed to be, okay, well, I don't care. Whatever.
We need to be official.
Yeah, I don't even know how the hell that happened.
No.
So anyway, Dom sends me a text yesterday and sends the menu, and we're looking at it. So 300 grams of fresh pasta. So pasta for 2, and probably maybe pasta for almost 3. An 8-ounce sauce, 2 cheese, 2 chili pepper, a bottle of red or a bottle of white. Delivered $35.
Wow, that's all right, man.
That's not bad, eh?
That is all right.
That's not bad. So like $7.50 a head for the pasta.
Yeah.
$10 a head for a bottle of wine.
Yeah. That's decent. That's really decent.
Yeah. And to go like on the street. So if you come in and you want like like I think we're doing 4 or 5 different pasta cuts. But the pasta with a tomato sauce or an arrabbiata, like a hot tomato sauce, $10 to go.
I'm too far away.
I know. It's not going to work. Not for you. Not yet. Maybe never. Maybe we franchise. Who knows?
Yeah. It's no, that's awesome.
I'm kind of excited. I'm seriously. I'm excited about that. And then, all of a sudden, like, I mean, because, I'm like a 4-year-old anyway. Fuck, I've gone card mental again, like absolute mental. And I went on a fucking selling spree. I was so excited. And then I'm looking around thinking, I need inventory. So I have to go on a buying spree because I got to fuel this machine now. Because, hey.
You're hilarious.
If you're going to play, you got to play.
You're hilarious.
Right. So the last 2 days I've been on a buying spree. Now I got to wait for the cards to come in, take them down to get grading. And then I'm thinking I got a time delay. So now I'm going into the cards I didn't want to sell, thinking, well, fuck, I got to put something online. So I guess I'm going to have to go into these. So I'm starting to go through those cards thinking, well, okay, I want to keep this, but do I really need to keep this one?
I was flipping through because I don't have that many cards, but I do have a handful of rookie cards, like hockey players and things like that.
Like who? Who am I buying?
Baseball players. I've got a Gretzky card here somewhere.
Rookie?
Yeah, rookie Gretzky card somewhere.
Well, find it.
Yeah, I've got a Mario Lemieux somewhere.
I'll buy.
I have no idea. I don't even know what these things are worth. I collected them. I had enough sense to put them in the little sleevey things.
It's all condition dependent, obviously. I mean, Gretzky's are hot.
Yeah.
Like, hot.
Okay.
Like anything Gretzky right now is hot.
Okay.
But definitely.
Are you talking about his daughter or are you talking about him?
The daughter's hot too. But he is definitely, his cards are probably hotter than the daughter.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I don't think we're supposed to talk like that on the podcast, though.
I don't think so.
But
I think that's going to earn us an R ratings now.
Yeah, the cards are hot. Hot.
Okay. I'll look and see what I have. I know I've got a bunch of rookie cards that, like I
Hey, you want floors? You want floors? You want floors without having doing the work? I'll give you floors.
Okay.
I'll do your floors.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'd be happy to do your floors for you right now. And I pay you cash money.
I will go and look because I know I had a buddy who was really into cards. I just kind of like them. And he was like, you should buy, I was like, fine, I'll buy. Like this is like, I don't know, 20,
25 years ago. We're all buying.
Years ago, right? So, okay. And then I just put them away, right? Like, didn't really think anything of them. So,
dig them out, man.
Yeah.
Dig them out. If you want floors, I'll get you floors for February.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Next week, we're going to have a friend of mine on. I thought it was interesting. She actually approached me, but I think it's a really interesting idea. She has spent her life doing strategic work, whether it be category management or account work or just strategic planning work. Mm-hmm. And then she had this chance to, I'm going to get it wrong, so she'll explain it, but she got a chance to go, and the company that she was with allowed her to spend, I think it's like 6 or 9 months to be deployed to help in an emergent sort of situation. And so she was able to go and help an agency that looks after children in emergent situations. Wow. So she was she's Canadian. She moved around the US, got placed in DC, was originally going to get deployed to Africa, but they had all the immigration stuff that are almost departed. Their almost departed president, kind of where they split up families and everything.
Right.
So she spent some time in New Mexico helping out with children who
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And so she said to me, I think this is interesting for you guys. And I said to her, this is really interesting because Kenny and I spend our time telling folks that we know or folks that listen to the show how you can take skills that you have, right, from these cool jobs.
Absolutely.
And be able to figure out how to do something different with them. Well, this is a classic situation where she literally, category management and children who have been separated from their parents, they are not
in the same freaking nothing.
But she said, but she said the strategic work that she, was able to, the strategic skills that she had from these jobs at packaged goods, kind of Fortune 500 companies, really equipped her to be able to go and do something like this. So I thought, wow, that's super interesting. So I tried to get her on for tonight. Cool. She couldn't come on, but she'll be here next week. And isn't that cool?
That is actually really cool. Like, seriously, that is very cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
I thought to start the year, we have a lot of retail stories and we've got a lot of, people and brands, but we do have a lot of people who are rethinking their careers and thinking about what do they do next. And,
there's tons of people like that
we talk about. Yeah.
We did, that the traction book, the Gino Wickman book, right?
Yeah.
The one the EOS, the Entrepreneurs Operating System, or whatever they want to call it. But we had a session today with, I guess they've got now like 400 coaches or something that go out and teach people how to do this, or teach young companies how to do this. But actually, I thought it was, it's a business, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And they're coaches and business coaches. But I did find it actually quite interesting. The guy was really, I thought he was actually quite interesting. And aside from, selling a service of coaching, with this particular thing. I still think if someone like that would be interested to have on, because again, I think it's sort of what we talked about at the beginning of the show is how entrepreneurs have to learn to do things just differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like capitalize on different skill sets. Mm-hmm. The skill sets they don't have, make sure someone else has them. Mm-hmm. Right seats and right bums and right seats. Mm-hmm. All that type of stuff. But I thought that guy was really fascinating too. I think it might be something interesting to talk about. And I still want to bring Peter from KSA the cards on. Yeah. Because again, as people are struggling, if you're going to be locking down in Ontario and you are looking for some extra money, for example, like we're bullshitting, we're joking around. You want to do floors? Dig around.
Yeah.
You might be surprised. The Lemuta Gretzky can buy floors. Not a lot of floors necessarily, but they can buy floors. So why not start looking around, at different things in your world that you might be able to move around, sell, get into even.
Yeah, why not?
Why
not? Yeah, I mean, it's income augmentation. It's a big time. It's a good time to think side hustle. It's a good time.
Why not? You've got time right now for in a lot of respects. I mean, unfortunately, some people have too much time, but there's others like who because the work world has changed and maybe you can't go out or you're not working in the office, you're at home, and there are more breaks in a day because you're probably stretching an 8-hour day over 16 hours.
Yep.
Right. So there is blocks of time in the day to do other things, learn something, try something different. There's a million ways to make money.
Yeah. It's a good time to learn things too. I mean, really, like we kind of, at the beginning of this, we said, go learn something. And then, like there's a lot of stress involved. Maybe it wasn't the time, but now, settle in. We still got easily 9 months to go.
It's fall for sure.
Hopefully enough people get the vaccine.
I think people are getting a lot less. I think right now, I think more people would have it if the supply chain was in a better shape. And that's both countries. And I'm assuming that's probably happening in Europe too. It seems to be really difficult. Yeah. What we knew, but it's inevitable. But I think the nonsense of someone south who was causing a lot of problems, and the lack of focus on this has probably helped people line up for the vaccine. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. Hopefully. My worry is the variants that I hope this thing works for. Right? Because sometimes what happens when government or officials start focusing on things, you start to wonder, like, why are they so worried about this all of a sudden? Like, what do they know that we don't know?
Yeah, that they haven't.
Like, what are they not telling us?
Yeah.
Right. So then you start thinking, shit, man.
Yeah.
So I've even told the folks, I said, you know what? Get in line, phone the doctor, get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Efficacy looks awesome. Sure. Take it and go.
It's also an interesting one because I was reading about Israel and how Israel they've deployed something like 13%.
Yeah, they've gone crazy there.
Yeah. But they have a really interesting system because their HMOs compete for clients, right? So they're pretty executionally focused, right? Because you don't do well, the patients move to another HMO, right?
Right.
I always wondered why. I know that McKesson, is somewhat a player in the vaccine stuff. I don't really understand all of our infrastructure.
I think this is because they just have the warehouses and the logistics. They can do it.
Yeah.
Because they're drugs, right? So they can definitely manage this without much problem.
Yeah.
And I just wondered outlets.
I just wondered why. I guess the other one that I always wondered why, you think of like the Parmalots and Danons of the world, especially for the Pfizer vaccine that needs the minus 70, right? No, but they understand cold chain.
Yes,
and
they do.
Can get to. They literally can get to every urban outlet. Yeah, right. I just wonder, like, why.
I think the problem with that one is because this thing is so far outside of even that cold chain. There are other narcotics and drugs that are already in this world. So a McKesson makes total
would be
sense.
Very familiar,
right?
Yeah.
I think that the thing they should have been focusing on way before the vaccine was, that's great, you've got it in McKesson, but I don't go to McKesson. And if you ask normal people in the street, what's a McKesson?
Yeah, no idea.
It's the guys who supply Shoppers. Pharmacy, London. Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
What they probably should have done is leverage the shit out of McKesson, maybe another one or two, whether it's KNF, even Imperial, doesn't matter who it was, get a few of the drug distributors going, but then they should have partnered with pharmacy.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I would have done. Forget anything else. Just get Shoppers, London, Couture, Lawtons, get these guys, because they're all regional, get them going and blitz the shit out of this thing.
Yeah.
And McKesson can feed all of them.
Well, and you have, it is like, this was one where I really went, it's funny. I wish that they had gone to retail, because like this wouldn't be any
It's not out of the norm.
Well, it wouldn't be any different than, let's say, like a cold and flu product that needed to launch, right? Like, my launch date's March 1st. Got it. No problem. Like we would get 95, 97% distribution just like that, right? Because it's what we do, right? So, like it's surprising.
I just found it surprising too. And I thought it was cool. I understand why they went the Army route. And I think that's awesome because yes, armies deploy things, but I hate to tell you, armies may not know a shitload about vaccines.
I'd race the Army any day. I'd race the Army any day. Like if you wanted to put this up against, Army versus retail, see who could do this faster. I am sorry.
They should have talked to McKesson, Shoppers Drug Mart, Jean Coutu, Lawton's, London Drugs, Rexall, whatever. You would have had the whole country done.
Yeah.
Literally, and they could have started talking to these people in September. It would have been done.
They probably could have gone to any like Fortune 500. They could have gone to a sales strat person or a retail buyer, and like, how would you do this? Okay, here's how I got. Like, I get it. The nuts and bolts are a little bit different, minus 70 or but I didn't tell you, like, this is how, But
remember, one of your supply chain guy has that figured out.
Yeah.
And your supply chain guy knows the retailers, and the retailers know how to do this.
Yeah. And they all speak the same language.
Exactly. So why are you talking to the Army?
I don't know.
And God bless him. I mean, thank God he stepped up. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit?
But
this is not munitions.
You just got the wrong guy doing it.
Exactly. This is drugs.
Yeah.
You got drugstores across the country. I remember watching that thinking, oh, okay, fuck, that's interesting. I mean, all right.
It's dramatic. Yes.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's dramatic. It's cool,
I don't know. What are we going to do? We're going to go where we run into Army barracks, or we run in who do they know in retail? Like, who's going to do this? Well, pharmacists are allowed to do this in most provinces. It's like London has been doing vaccines for years. I mean, they may not be in every city, but people are driving, and it would have been so easy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there.
Yeah.
They've got the fridges and the freezers. They deal with the drug guys. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know it's just so funny. It's
So maybe you're right. See, you start looking at that, and all of a sudden, two dummy retailers could actually,
yeah. We could
probably helped with a vaccine outlet. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
I know, right?
So maybe we could save children.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God your friend did.
Yeah. Honestly, that's pretty cool. I think that's a call to the audience too. Is if you, I think that's important to this listener group. Is folks that are trying to figure out how they take their kind of packaged goods or retail skills and then do something else with their lives. I think if you have a story that's like that, definitely hit us up.
Or if you have a friend who's like that.
Yeah. We'd love to hear from you.
We like talking to people.
Yeah. We clearly like talking to people. So
exactly. I mean, I
think we clearly just like talking, really, because
I think you're probably right. Probably more so this year too, because like I'm home all day by myself. I tease Daniel because he goes to the gym and then he locks himself. I say, I could fall down and nobody would know. I need one of those things like that TV show. I fell down. I said, because you're not going to pay attention. Mommy's not home. Carly's not here. So who the hell cares about that? Nobody.
Oh, Kenny.
We
love you, Kenny.
What the hell is that going to do for me? I could fall down the stairs and break my head open. Nobody would even know.
Yeah.
He'd get back from the gym 4 hours later and he'd be already gone. I'm up from playing Fortnite.
You gotta get an Apple Watch with fall detection. And then Apple will care.
Yeah, that sounds too complicated.
Apple will call 911 for you.
Yeah, but you know me, I don't even like having Apple, my face thing. I don't want Apple knowing too much shit going on. What's the matter with these people? That's why I have a son. He's Apple. He should be taking care of his old man. What the fuck do I need Apple for? I got Daniel.
Oh man. I have since we're talking about like just about anything under the sun today, I have a pro tip on technology. I guess last month my big thing was Wi-Fi Mesh.
Yeah,
getting everybody on Wi-Fi Mesh.
So I did it. Richard did it.
Yeah, I know. I think I probably know 4 or 5 households that did it because of me.
Yeah.
But y'all have better Wi-Fi because of me.
That's true. So now what? What am I doing?
So the next pro tip I have, and poor Chloe, because I was working Chloe over before Richard got her new computer. But the other one to think about is if you're buying new computers, the really neat side effect of Fortnite and games like that is it spawned this whole new category of budget gaming laptops. So if you're buying a new laptop this year, before you go out and buy a business laptop, like a little
like what we have,
well, so I switched. I actually have a budget. I bought I think last 6 months ago ish. I bought an MSI. MSI is known for their gaming laptops, so I bought a budget gaming laptop. Cost me $7.99 on sale. But it's like this. The screen is an optimized screen, so it's a in a 15-inch frame, but the bezels are really small, so I get a 16-inch screen out of it, and then it's got a graphics card in it. So if you're a marketer, so all of that stuff, and it cost me $7.99, which is what I would pay for.
So what did you lose on?
I didn't really. So weight is a little bit. So it's a 4 pound. This is a 4 pound laptop, which is heavy. A business laptop would be like 3.5 ish, right? Like if you wanted to go really.
My Lenovo Carbon is light.
Yeah.
I don't think it's more than 2.5 pounds tops. I think it's like a feather. Yeah.
I'm just gonna drop the dog down here, so she can go out for her night pee. But so you lose a bit on weight, but I mean, I've been home, so
what do you care?
What do I care? And the other one is battery life, because gaming laptops chew up a ton of battery.
Right.
But again, I'm home.
Yeah. So who cares?
So actually, I did the ultimate lazy thing. I bought a spare power cable. So I have one that okay. So I work in the down here. I work down here, so I got a plug down here, and then I got one up in the kitchen so that when I'm cooking or whatever, I don't want to keep an eye on what's going on. I have a plug there as well. So
you know what? I think that's a good. I'm going to do that too, because that's one thing I don't have up here. I have to bring the cord up and down.
Yeah. I can't stand that.
Why do I do that?
Like the ultimate lazy man is you just get two, and then
is that lazy or is that just smart?
Both.
No, I think more smart than lazy. I'm gonna go on Amazon tonight. Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Jeez. So that's the only trade-offs. But quite honestly, for another 9 months, you don't got to worry about a single thing there, right? On either of those, battery or portability. And then after the 9 months, quite honestly, I'm so used to the weight and size of this laptop that I don't really care.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you look at nerds carrying it around, gaming nerds, I mean, they would never go to a feather. They wouldn't even look at a lightweight.
No,
cards aren't big enough or fast enough. Like they're just not.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my pro tip. Look at entry level gaming laptops. MSI is a really good brand. The other one, so don't look at HP. Don't look at those ones. Look at MSI. Acer, ACER does some really
Acer
great.
Does a lot of good gamers.
Yeah, they do a lot of really good entry gaming. And then the other one that has some serious kick-ass gaming laptops is Asus, ASUS. Are probably the three that I would look at.
We were in Best Buy looking at some stuff last month because we got Daniel one of those. We got Daniel a 24 or 27-inch 4K monitor.
Yeah.
But the one that goes,
Oh yeah, the round or the curvy.
No, not a curve.
Yeah.
It tilts though, so it sits a portrait, and then you can tilt it.
Landscape, and then you can tilt it.
Landscape, yeah. So for programming, because programming is thin but goes straight up and down, so pretty slick. But the 4K is like freaking awesome. I told him it's better than the TV upstairs in our room.
4K is, dude, it's pretty serious 4K. Like 4K is almost like they're in your living room.
It's fantastic. I'm thinking, I seriously have to figure out how to do it, because you've told me that you've done it. I want to get a monitor for this, like, so I want to be able to use both, obviously. I'm going to get a monitor for this room. I think I'm going to maybe get his, because I could probably see that. Well, maybe not. I might have to get a 40-inch because I can't see shit anymore, but I
how far away is your, like, are you going to hang it on the wall, or are you going to?
If I can, I've got a stand there, so I could put it on a pedestal. So kind of like the way the stereo system is kind of my old school turntable.
Okay.
I can probably do it like that, but against that wall.
Okay.
Right. So I don't need to hang it. Though. I'd probably go 40. Maybe 40.
Yeah, 40.
Right.
Yeah, 40, and then get a webcam. So 40, and then get a webcam to stuck on the top, so you don't got to move, right? And then you're not kind of like, because right now you're kind of like, you actually can't move, right? Because you're kind of rooted to where the laptop is. But if you got it on the TV, you can stand up, you can walk around, you can,
The problem with that, though, you can see too much. That means I can't be fucking around with cards while I'm talking to you. Like I'm gonna have to be paying more attention. It's just a lot of complications on that too. See, this way I can hide the laptop nice and close. You can't see what I'm doing. I could be flipping through rookie cards or looking at some coins, and you would never know.
Yeah, you would never know. Yeah.
The other way, like then it's gonna be just distracting. So
we I look at that. I look at how much we teched up, and we
I think a lot of people did, man, because you know what? Why not? And honestly, things are not that expensive, relatively speaking. I mean, you don't have to be an animal. Like you can go, you can go spend. Obviously, you can probably still spend $1,500 on a small 4K TV. But you can also get a 4K TV for a couple $100. Like you said, you don't have to buy a Lenovo for $3,800. You can buy a gaming laptop for $700.
Yeah.
Right. And I know not everybody has even $700 to burn. I get that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in some of these situations, the only way to make a little bit of money, you have to.
Yeah, you got to spend.
You got to spend a little bit. You have no choice, right? I mean, There's really not much you can do, but.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just looking at like how much we teched up, and even with the kids. Like I moved everyone to laptops a long time ago, but the kids are all, we the family banded together and bought my son an Asus, a pretty serious Asus gaming laptop that he can use for university. Nice. So and then he had an entry level Dell gaming laptop that went to his sister. But they all have monitors, right? Because, the screens are a bit small. So you got to just make sure they've got enough real estate to see, so I was kind of walking around going, I'm like an office manager, and we're actually like an office, right? Because everyone's got dual screens, and they've, it's.
Put order requisitions for equipment orders.
There's a lineup, right? Because like you get those, the kids are like, Dad, this isn't working right, or that's not, can you come see? And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I had to go check your mom's stuff first, and then your brother had a problem, so
you're on the list, but IT
I'm gonna have to have a ticket system soon, otherwise
just put a request in and requisition. 3-part. We'll get back to you.
Yeah. Man,
that's funny.
That's funny. And I guess the other scrambly bit that's a neat pro tip, Google Ads, really scrambly, but Google Ads now has I don't know if it's new, it's relatively new, but if you use their adaptive ad system, so you can write Google Ads like a regular Google ad, so or like a regular classified ad. So if you got a heading, body, description, web link. There's a function they have called an adaptive or a dynamic ad, and so you put in like 8 titles and 8 bodies, and then what it does is it mixes and matches them for the people who are searching for things. And then they've added a function now that is the analytics of that tells you, hey, you put in 8 headers and 8 bodies. Here are the ones that here are the pairings that work the best.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, so that you can start to figure out, rather than doing it manually,
right?
Google actually now tells you, oh, yeah, you should keep these 6, and then these 2, nobody likes these, so you should discard them and try something new.
That's interesting.
Which is really
that's pretty cool. That's pretty slick, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So that's pretty interesting.
This technology is mental.
Yeah, that's all I got. All sorts of scrambly little bits, you know.
That's what happens when you and I do a podcast together. We have no guests. It's just all scrambly.
It's okay. I think it's okay. Okay with
it?
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
I like it.
It's fine by me.
I like it, man.
It's fine by me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got, though. That's all I got for this week. And then, yeah. Awesome, dude.
Okay, buddy boy. Well, you have a nice evening. We got you off early tonight, which is kind of a bonus too.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Cool. I'm actually going to stop this. I want to talk to you about something quick.